Two bald, soul-searching adventurers riddling the virtual landscape with conspiratorial tales, familial stories, and personal experiences. Welcome.
I'm ready to go. So Chris, we're gonna talk about, what are we talking about? Near-death experiences, or seemingly close to death, where you think you may be treading to the other side.
We're gonna discuss the elephant in the room, dying. I mean, that's it. Dying. The old elephant in the room. Nobody wants to discuss it. Right?
Actually, that's not true.
I mean, everybody's going to do it, right? Nobody gets out of here alive.
That's right. Nobody.
So dying. Not that I've done it many times. I don't practice it. But I figured we could talk about it because we may answer a few questions, people's concerns, make them feel a little bit more comfortable about dying.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like the sound of that.
We don't want to encourage it.
No, we don't encourage it. But if you happen to go that we come from a large family. There was 8 of us originally. Our youngest brother passed away, and then we've had a couple of older brothers that love having heart attacks. We have 2 in particular that have had, between the 2 of them, I think they've had like 5 or 6.
I think it's a competition, but
maybe they don't talk about it, but they're always looking sideways at each other, and I'm thinking, okay. But they've got some great stories. So we're affiliated loosely
with death. We're very closely related with death.
Related, yeah,
close to dying experience.
Yeah,
and obviously, I mean, you probably heard that I'm combat vet, served in special forces. And I did, almost 10 years in law enforcement, seeing a lot of dead people, getting in situations that are scary, chaotic. Even the normal traffic stop can be pretty hair-raising and intense.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, I had, experienced having to go into a DV, domestic violence incident, where somebody's beating somebody else and wrestling people to the floor, knife fights, a few of them. And in the military, I was in combat, tanks shooting at us. So you would think that jumping out of airplanes, repelling out of helicopters, all that cool stuff that looks cool, but it's kind of scary, and people do die from it. But and I did, what my point is, what I'm getting at is, I did experience something that my wife strongly believes that I was actually dead when she found me.
Oh, wow.
So it's and it wasn't when I was thought, it wasn't the time when I was dead sitting on a toilet in Israel because of heat stroke in Jordan. I'm not talking about that time. That's another story.
What a way to go. No pun intended.
Yeah. This one was kind of interesting, and this is kind of like paranormal, I guess, or spiritual. So we're kind of going down that river.
Yep.
A twig on the mighty shores of the
what do they call that river down? What's the river? Not the river. Styx. The river Styx. That's right.
Yeah. So, anyways, the story is after I got out of the military, I was a cop at the time, but I had just I tried to stay active, and I had just participated in a soccer tournament, so I was all pumped, like, it was fun.
Yeah.
Had a beer, only one.
Only one. Sure.
Kicking back,
Kicking back.
Anyways, we're sitting there watching TV, and I'm like, I'm ready for bed. So I went up to bed, got in bed, all cozy, tucked in.
Yeah.
Suddenly I start getting a cramp in the leg, right in the thigh, which is unusual. It was in the thigh. I'm like, or the quad. It was in the quad, not the inner thigh, but the quad, almost the front. I was like, wow, that's weird. Start massaging that baby a little bit. It was a quad.
Yeah.
See, I'm not.
Yeah.
That's what I'm massaging. It's a quad.
Let's get those hands where we can see them.
So, anyways, I'm massaging. I'm like, okay, I gotta get it out. Try to get it. And I was like, "Woo, it ain't coming out. It's staying in there. It's hurting more and more." So I stand up. I'm like, okay, this is getting bad. Oh boy, it was
So
really
you're having a cramp in your leg, and you can't
inside.
seem you
Yeah, it was
can't
like
seem
in the
to
thigh. It was
right. You
really
can't
weird.
and so you
Yeah,
can't seem to massage it out.
right. Pushing on it with the thumbs and like, oh man, I was like, this is not good. And you know what a cramp's like. I mean,
Yeah,
typically
they
get
get
cramps like
painful.
ah,
Yeah, they get painful. Sure.
yeah. So I was standing up and I was pushing. I could not relieve the pain. It was getting worse. It was building. And before I continue on, let's go back a few months. Or I had actually, for whatever reason, I had really been thinking about dying and how it would be like to die before this incident. So, and I was like, yeah, hey God, it must really suck to die. I really don't want to die. I like the idea of going to heaven and all that stuff,
Sure.
but I don't like the process of death. I was like, it was kind of in a way on my heart up until this point, and it was almost like I was becoming afraid of it. Maybe,
Yeah.
like I don't want to go through that. I mean, if I could just bypass the actual
Sure.
dying,
The
you know,
process.
the process of going through whatever pain or misery that. So that was kind of on my heart for up until this point, and I was at the time, I'm not thinking of dying. I'm thinking I gotta get this cramp out. So I'm trying to massage it. And I'm like, I'm gonna call my wife,
Right.
Kim. And I wanted to call out to her so bad to tell her, get up here, I got a cramp. I couldn't. I was in so much pain at that point. I couldn't even call out for help.
Wow.
And I was like, and then I was like, I can't take this pain anymore. And suddenly this thought, it was almost like somebody whispered in my ear. It was like, this is what it's like to die. And then that was it. I was out.
Wow.
That was the last thing I remember hearing. The next thing I remember is opening my eyes and a lot of bright lights. I mean, the room was very bright. And
Mhm.
Kim's like, Chris,
Yeah.
shaking me. I think she got a
Jeez.
few slaps in. She says she didn't, but I tell you what, it felt like she got a few slaps in. So I'm kind of like, coming out of it, like, and she's like, I'm calling the doctor, I'm calling the ambulance. I'm like, and I'm a cop. I'm like, no, everybody's gonna hear it on the radio. Cop down, and then I like go
Pandemonium.
through that. Don't
Yeah.
And she's like, I got it. It's like, no, I'm typical guy. No, I'm okay. I'm
Yeah.
fine. I'm
I
fine.
passed out from
I
pain,
just
but
died.
but
I'm
I'm
back.
okay. That's right.
Lighten
Okay.
up. To me, I was like, I just fainted. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But anyway, so she gets me into the truck and she drives me to the clinic. And obviously, she called. Yeah, this is on a small island. So you had to call
Right.
the clinic and say, hey, we're coming in. We need a doctor or whatever. And it's like midnight or something at the time.
Mhm.
So obviously, the police have to go and open the clinic for the doctor. Oh, yeah. So all the cops showed up for my arrival at the hospital. But anyways, what she was saying is she came up, well, she was watching TV and she heard this boom,
Right.
like a loud, upstairs, and she assumed it was me. So she went running up there, and I had just fallen, like total clap, and I was blocking the door the way I was laying. She had a hard time getting in. She finally gets in, and the lights are out, so it's really dark in there. And she finds me, um, and she's looking at me. She said my eyes were open, and they're like in different directions.
Oh
They were
wow.
not looking straight. They were looking like all cattywampus. And she
Wow.
said I wasn't breathing.
Wow. So your muscles, that means that you were not just out, but your muscles were disconnected. Not disconnected, but like
They stopped. I guess whatever. Yeah.
whatever.
And she said I wasn't breathing. So she said she thought I was dead. She's like, you're, and then suddenly I came out of it.
Yeah.
And it's weird because she said that the room was dark. I mean, pitch black, but I was seeing like it was all bright. And then once they start waking up, she turns lights on. So, anyways, that's the story. And it was kind of interesting. Yeah, it sucked, but my point and the lesson is for me, at the time that I was dying.
Right.
I wasn't really thinking about dying. I was just kind of, it was like,
You're in pain.
you're in pain.
You're
It sucked.
yeah.
It sucked,
You're
but
in a
it
lot
was
of pain.
fast.
Yeah.
But once it was, once I got through that passed out, unconscious phase, then obviously there was no pain after that. So in a way, it almost kind of made me feel a little bit, made me feel better about dying because
Right.
I'm like, well, yeah, it's gonna. There's a lot of things that happen to me that I don't die, and it sucks. Bang my
Right.
hammer with my finger with the hammer, and it hurt a lot longer than my thigh cramp. But
Right.
anyway, so that's what I want to portray or share, and that's it.
Well, I've got a little story that kind of not necessarily, but kind of goes along with that. Our mother's friend from New York City, that she grew up in the neighborhood with this guy, and they met later on in life after my dad passed away, and so they kind of hung out together quite a bit. And I met the guy. He was a good guy. Well, he passed away a few years back, probably 6 or 8 years ago. And the story was, when he was passing away, of course, the kids. He came from, had a big family, and one of his daughters was there with him. I can't remember if there was other people there. There may have been other people there, and he was like on his last moments of life. He was laying in bed, and he looks like, I can't remember what the story was, but it's like he's looking off into the distance or looking at the ceiling. And he says, "Oh, look at the path. Look at the beautiful path." And his daughter said, "Dad, get on the path." And when she said that, within a few minutes, he was gone. He had passed. So
Yeah.
I believe that we're all headed towards something. I go back and forth about punishment and all that stuff, but I believe God's good, and there's good things waiting for us.
I believe if you believe in Him and trust in Him, yeah, you're fine. You'll make it. You just get on the path.
Yeah.
And it kind of reminds me of the story when we thought my mom would, she's dead now, but this is prior to her dying, like a year prior.
Yeah.
She passed out, went unconscious. They took her to the hospital and all that, and she was in a coma, right? She was
sleeping. Well, coma, whatever coma is. She was out for days. Like she slept for like 3 or 4 days, and she probably in a coma. I guess that's technically a coma.
Or I think she was waking up and then kind of going out. So we all got together, all 7 of us brothers, and we're getting ready to pull the plug on her. I don't know if you were there. For that
I wasn't getting ready to pull the plug.
Dead now. You can say that. You can tell the truth now.
Everybody else, I was trying to save her, fighting the good fight.
We're trying to get by Mike, trying to get through the hospital door, and he's blocking the door,
trying to save my mother from the evildoers.
So
anyway,
as I was reaching down to pull the plug, she woke up.
Oh man!
What are you doing now?
What are you doing? What are you doing? Quit messing around. Did you see that? Did you see the little thing? I love that video. It's getting off track. We're rabbit trailing here. So it's a video of the guy. He's looking in between these two, like something like a piece of furniture and the wall, and you see his head pop, and he looks, and he can see the plug. So he looks at it, reaches back, and when he reaches back, his head goes out of the way, and this other hand comes out of the wall and messes with him, and he can't get the plug in the wall. And then he pops back around, he looks, and the hand's gone, and he goes, "Okay," and he goes to plug it in, and the hand comes out and messes with him. Reminded me.
Weird.
Yeah, it was funny. It was a really funny video. Every time I think about it, I laugh, because that's just like you look at the plug, it's right there. All you have to do is and then you get close. Anyway, so Chris is trying to kill. So you're trying to kill her mother.
Right. They call me the kill switch.
Kill switch is a street name. Anyway, go ahead.
So anyway, she comes out of it. She's awake, and she tells the story along the lines of what we've been talking about. That she was skiing, and when she woke up, she thought she had been skiing, and she's like 92 years old.
Yeah.
Like, no,
well,
Mom,
what's crazy?
Skiing.
So this was really cool, though. So from what I remember, now this is a few years back, so I'm hoping I remember it right. But she was skiing along this fence line, and that's a very common thread in near-death experiences. Is there's a barrier you can't get across, and she's skiing down along this fence line, and she's And then she had another one. I think I told this in an earlier
she tells
video.
the story that she really thought she had been skiing, and
Yeah.
she didn't cross over the fence to,
Right.
you know. So and then she comes out of it, and
Sure.
there we are getting ready to pull the plug.
Yeah. Let's not
So there
focus
is a
on
God.
that. Let's not focus on that, okay? So what? Some people wanted to pull a plug. It's just a plug. Could have been any plug. Could have been a light. Could have been one of those annoying little beepers that makes all that noise. You know, it's just a plug. Okay, don't focus on what it's plugged into. Okay?
Right.
You know. Anyway,
I like pulling plugs.
There's two kinds of people in the world. There's button pushers and there's plug pullers.
Which one are you?
You decide who you are and where you fall in that category. Or as my grandson tells me, he goes, Grandpa, there's three kinds of people right? Three kinds of people in the world. Those who can count and those who can't. But anyway, that's another good one. Whoa, that's a good one. That's
I like that one.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Oh, I was going to say the other one. I think I told this where she's on the lake. My parents used to own a house, and now my brother's got it. Anyway,
yeah, strange how that worked.
Nothing personal. Anyway, and in her dream, she's looking across the lake, and there's a party going on the other side. So I thought that was kind of that she died within a month or two of that. You know,
but she went to the party, I'm assuming.
Hopefully, yeah, I think so. I think she's at the party right now. Hopefully, there'll be a party there when we get there.
Yeah,
that's the hope.
Maybe not after this conversation.
Yeah, after this conversation, there may be a little
major
bit of legal
repenting going on after this show.
Legal repercussions if the Secret Service, whoever monitors our videos, whoever they are, then maybe they'll look into it. They don't care. What do they care?
What are they going to censor us?
Hey, what are they going to do? Anyway, yeah, that's a good one. Yep.
Oh, yeah. So what's the moral of our show? What's the moral of our story, Mike?
Pretty much, you're going to die, but don't worry about it. And watch out. Hopefully, don't invite Chris to your hospital room. I would definitely not invite him for visiting. He's kind of, anyway. Don't invite Kill Switch to your during visiting hours. Anyway, I think we got good things on the way. Good things on the way.
Right. And I just want to, and I think in a way it's like I've mentioned before, do not fear is mentioned in the Bible 365 times. That's like
one for each day of the year.
Bam. So in a way, I was fearing this thought and this, oh man, I don't want. So in a way, God's like, okay, you want to see what it's like? This is what it's like. So don't be afraid anymore. That's kind of the way I took it. It was like, okay, I get it. And I had been around, like I said, I was military. I mean, I've been around death for a good portion of my life.
Yeah.
But I never had that on my heart like it was, and then I die. Yeah. Anyway,
weird. No, it's weird. I remember.
So it's all paranormal, spiritual. We live in a spiritual realm, man.
We do. Your brother John. We have a brother, dear John, and he always used to say, dying's no big deal. So he has this massive heart attack. They have to life flight him off the island. It's not funny.
Right.
We gotta tell each other, don't laugh. So he's being life flighted, and he keeps going into cardiac arrest. So they've got those paddles, and they're just going, they rub them together, I guess, to charge them up or warm them up. I don't know what they're doing.
Have fun.
It's just like,
I'm going now.
He's in and out of conscious, but he can hear them in that because it kind of powers up the paddles. And he's thinking, oh no, don't do it again. And they go bam, and they hit him. So I asked him afterwards. I said, because I think they used the paddles on him like three or four times. It was a lot. It was a lot because he was on the way to the hospital, and they were having so much fun with those paddles. Let's see, do it again. Anyway,
that's what happens when you don't have that kill switch mentality. Then you're rubbing paddle. You're a button pusher at that point.
That's right. You're Yeah, you're a button pusher. That's right. You are
Yeah,
technically.
you are, because you have to push the button on the.
So I asked John afterwards. I said, "So how's dying? Is it, you still think it's not a big deal?" He goes, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal." I thought
keeping
I saw
you alive is a big deal.
Yeah, I thought that there was a little bit of a twitch in his eye when he said it.
He probably would have rather just died instead of go through all those shock treatments.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Anyway, crazy. Life is crazy. Hopefully, we'll go out with a joke and a laugh. Slap on the mic, then drop. Yeah, I don't know.
We want to go with our boots on. That's all I want. I want to go.
What difference does it make if your boots on? What's the deal? I don't know. What is that? What does that even mean with your boots on? That means you're doing something. You're outside.
Yeah. You're outside doing what you like to do. Wear your boots.
Oh, there you go. That is good. That is good. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Okay.
I was going to say we found our neighbor passed away in our backyard years ago. Actually, my wife did. I didn't actually find her. Kathy found
suspicious.
Yeah, well, I'm denying everything. Nobody saw me do it. What is it? How's that go? I didn't do it. Nobody saw me do it. You can't prove anything.
There you go.
She was a sweet old gal, and she used to call us quite often and say, "Hey, Mike and Kathy, come on over. Are we doing cocktails?" And she'd come over and have a glass of wine with us at about 3 or 4 in the afternoon. She was a sweet lady, and she died doing what she loved. She died in her garden,
drinking. Oh,
that's where she hid the fifth.
Drinking in her garden.
Too funny.
Oh, boy.
But yeah,
maybe we should stop while we're ahead.
Well, I don't think we ever were ahead.
We're bringing up homicides now.
Oh man, it's a big world. But anyway, listen, I'm done.
Right.
Are you
bald
done?
head noggin? No, it's bald noggin, not bald head. That's kind of redundant.
That's redundant.
Bald head, no, that's redundant.
Actually, you know what's weird? If you look up redundant, doesn't mean what you think it means.
What?
It doesn't mean.
Maybe it doesn't mean what you think it means.
No, I can tell by the way you use it. It's not what you think it is. It's not like. But anyway, but don't let that detract from anything.
I'm going to keep using it. Push your button.
All right, adios.
All right, out. All right, show's over.